In the cold silence of space, the human ship Aurora floated peacefully. It was a science vessel, filled with researchers, explorers, and dreamers. They were far from Earth, studying strange stars and gathering knowledge. They had no weapons. They had no soldiers. They carried only hope and curiosity. Dr. Elena Morrow, one of Earth's brightest scientists, stood by the window. Her soft smile reflected the thousands of stars around her. She was sending a message back to Earth, telling stories about new discoveries. But her message was interrupted. The alarms began to scream. Red lights flashed across the ship. The crew, unarmed and untrained for battle, looked at each other in fear. Then the ship's AI spoke in a calm, cold voice. Unknown vessel approaching. No response to hails. Shields failing. Before anyone could react, the attack began. Bright blue energy beams tore into the Aurora's hull. The ship shook violently. Walls cracked. Fires erupted. In seconds, a peaceful ship became a burning coffin. Through the chaos, Dr. Elena fought to reach the emergency room. Blood ran down her forehead. Her hands trembled as she sent one final message to Earth. Her voice was broken but clear. They know us. They fear us. Don't show mercy. As the final words left her lips, the Drexari soldiers stormed into the room. They were tall, with silver skin and eyes like cold knives. They did not speak. They only fired. Dr. Elena fell. And with her fall, something inside humanity changed forever. Far away on Earth, Elena's message reached command. The room went silent as her last words played again and again. Generals, scientists, and politicians listened, their faces pale and hard. They knew the Drexari, a proud and ancient alien race, arrogant, dangerous, and now murderers. For years, Earth had tried to live in peace. They had joined the Galactic Council. They had shared knowledge, technology, dreams. Humans had believed they could be part of a greater, kinder galaxy. They were wrong. The President of Earth stood slowly. Her voice was cold and sharp, cutting through the heavy air. Prepare the Ghost Protocol. The generals nodded. No one argued. No one spoke of peace. Not anymore. Across Earth, secret facilities lit up. Soldiers who had never existed on paper were called in. Scientists opened forbidden labs. Ships hidden in deep underground bases powered up for the first time. No news was released to the public. No warnings were given to the Drexari. In space, the Drexari celebrated their small victory. They believed the humans were weak. They thought humanity would cry, protest to the Galactic Council, and beg for justice. They did not realize what they had awakened. 1 week later, a small Drexari colony at the edge of their territory stopped responding. Patrol ships were sent to investigate. They found nothing. No life, no bodies, no wreckage. Only a single message burned into the planet's surface, large enough to be seen from orbit. You touched one of ours. Now we will erase you. The Drexari leaders laughed at first. They thought it was a trick, a joke. They increased their patrols. They gathered fleets. They prepared for a fight against what they thought were weak, emotional humans. But as days passed, more colonies went dark. Ships vanished without a trace. Spy drones captured images of strange figures moving through the ruins, shadows that wore human armor but moved faster than any known soldier. Panic began to spread. The Drexari High Council demanded answers. Their generals could offer none. Their scientists spoke in hushed voices about human technology no one had seen before, weapons that bent light, minds that hacked machines, soldiers that struck and disappeared like ghosts. The Drexari Emperor slammed his fist on the golden throne and roared, "Find the humans, destroy them before they destroy us." But deep inside, even the bravest Drexari knew the truth. It was already too late. The humans were coming. And they would not stop. Not this time. Earth did not scream. Earth did not cry. Earth went silent. The death of Dr. Elena Morrow had shaken the planet to its core. But instead of chaos, there was cold, burning focus. Humanity was not preparing to fight a war. They were preparing to end one. In the secret halls of the Earth Defense Council, no news reporters were allowed. No cameras flashed. The world outside continued its normal life, unaware that its leaders had already chosen a path. General Marcus Hale, commander of Earth's Special Operations, stood before the council. His face was like stone. "The Drexari believe they have broken us," he said. "They do not understand. They have only broken the chains we chose to wear." The room remained silent. No one dared interrupt. Hale continued. "The ghost units are ready. The fleets are hidden. Our scientists have completed the Project Eclipse weapons." The President of Earth gave a single nod. "Proceed." Across Earth, invisible preparations began. Huge military transports lifted off in the darkness of night, hidden from satellites by electronic shadows. Deep-sea bases launched black ships that could vanish from all sensors. Soldiers who had trained for a lifetime, men and women without families, without names, were awakened from frozen sleep. They had been built for this moment. And still, no message was sent to the Drexari. No warnings, no demands, only silence. Meanwhile, in the galaxy beyond, the Galactic Council panicked. Ambassadors from other species begged Earth to stay calm. They sent gifts, promises, even threats. But Earth did not answer. Their diplomats smiled politely and said nothing. One Drexari ambassador, furious, shouted during a council meeting, "You humans think you are powerful. We will crush you like insects." The human ambassador, an old woman with kind eyes, simply smiled and whispered, "You already had your chance." And with that, she stood and left. No more talks. No more peace. Far away, in Drexari space, the first signs of Earth's rage appeared. A mining station, orbiting a rich asteroid belt, lost communication. When a Drexari patrol arrived to investigate, they found only ashes. Ashes, and a single human flag planted in the center of the ruins. A message was burned next to it. "One by one, you will fall." The Drexari tried to hide the news from their people. They claimed it was a pirate attack. They sent out stronger fleets. But the disappearances continued. Colonies went silent. Supply ships vanished between stars. Listening stations heard whispers, human voices speaking in unknown codes. And still, not a single human fleet appeared in battle. The Drexari could not understand. Where were the armies? Where were the big ships? Where was the war they expected? Instead, they faced something far worse. A war they could not see. A war they could not fight. Inside the Drexari High Command, panic grew. Admiral Kor, the leader of their fleets, slammed his hand on the table. His sharp teeth flashed in anger. "We will crush them," he roared. "We will bomb Earth itself if we must." But even as he spoke, new reports arrived. Another Drexari fortress had fallen, without a single gunshot heard. Another fleet had disappeared into black space. Their maps, once filled with proud symbols of Drexari power, now showed growing patches of darkness. And in every dark place, human symbols appeared like warnings. A hand, a ghost, the burning sun. The Emperor of the Drexari finally gave a desperate order. Find their leaders, kill them, force them to the negotiation table. But deep inside, even he knew, the humans were not coming to negotiate. Earth had decided. This was no longer a war for territory, no longer a war for revenge. This was extermination, and it had already begun. The Drexari had always believed they ruled the stars. Their ships were powerful. Their armies were feared. Their weapons could destroy moons. But now something was happening that they could not understand. Their colonies were disappearing. Their fleets were dying without a single fight. And the worst part, they could not even see their enemy. It started small. A single cargo ship went missing. No distress signal, no wreckage, just silence. Then, an entire mining colony failed to report in. When Drexari scouts arrived, they found the colony empty. Buildings stood untouched, food was still on tables, lights were still on. But every Drexari was gone, not dead, gone, as if they had simply vanished into thin air. On a wall, scratched in deep lines, was a human symbol, a ghost with burning eyes. The Drexari High Command grew desperate. They sent larger patrols. They scanned for human ships. They blocked trade routes. But nothing stopped the disappearances. The more ships they sent, the more ships vanished. Entire planets fell silent in the night. No alarms, no battles, no survivors. The Drexari named this terror the Silent Death. The Drexari military officers argued among themselves. Maybe it's a new weapon, shouted one. Maybe it's a virus, guessed another. Maybe it's magic, whispered a third, trembling. But one Drexari general spoke the terrible truth. No, it is humans. It is what they become when they are truly angry. Silence fell over the room. Even the Emperor said nothing, because deep inside, they knew it was true. Far across the stars, the human ghost units moved. They wore black armor that bent light around them. They had ships that were invisible to all known scanners. They could hack Drexari systems in seconds, making defenses useless. They could kill from the shadows, never showing their faces. They did not seek glory. They did not make speeches. They left only messages, short and cold. You are already dead. You just don't know it yet. One night, the Drexari's greatest shipyard, the pride of their empire, vanished. It did not explode. It did not burn. It simply stopped existing. Satellites captured only one frame before the darkness swallowed the station. A human soldier, standing on the command bridge, staring into the camera. His armor was black. His helmet had no face, and on his chest was the same burning ghost symbol. The transmission ended with a simple message, one for Elena. Now, the Drexari civilians panicked. Families fled from border worlds. Merchants abandoned their shops. Entire cities turned into ghost towns. But running was useless. No one could hide from the humans. The Drexari's once proud empire began to collapse from inside. Fear spread faster than any weapon. Children cried about the ghosts coming for them. Soldiers refused to leave their ships at night. Officers locked themselves inside their fortresses, waiting for death. And all the while, humanity said nothing. No demands, no peace offers, no mercy. Only silent, unstoppable revenge. Inside his golden palace, the Emperor of the Drexari stared at the growing darkness on his star maps. He knew the truth. Their fleets meant nothing now. Their weapons meant nothing. They had made a terrible mistake. They had hurt one of Earth's own. And now, there would be no forgiveness. Only destruction. The Emperor whispered to himself, fear choking his voice. We should have left them alone. But it was too late. The ghosts were among the stars, and they were coming for everything. The Drexari thought they had seen all kinds of war. They had fought great battles across galaxies, but nothing could prepare them for what was coming next. Deep inside Earth's secret bases, the ghost units prepared for the biggest strike yet. They were no longer just shadows. They were an unstoppable storm. Their armor shimmered with dark light, bending and twisting like smoke. Their weapons were silent but deadly, energy blades, plasma rifles, and new machines that could break through any shield. The soldiers moved quickly and quietly. No one saw them coming. No one heard their footsteps. The target was the Drexari's strongest fortress, Fortress Varkas. It was a giant structure built on a rocky moon. Walls were thick with metal. Missiles and lasers guarded every entrance. Thousands of soldiers waited inside, ready to fight. The Drexari were sure the humans would never try a direct attack. They believed humans fought weakly, with fear and caution. They were wrong. At midnight, under the cover of darkness, the ghost units arrived. Their ships appeared out of nowhere, silent and invisible. They landed on the fortress walls like shadows. No alarms, no warnings. Inside, Drexari soldiers were shocked to see humans climbing the walls. They fought with silent blades and strange machines that cut through metal like paper. Humans moved like ghosts, striking quickly and vanishing before anyone could react. The battle was brutal but fast. Drexari soldiers fought with all their strength. They fired their strongest weapons, but the humans seemed to know every move before it happened. The fortress's powerful shields flickered and died. Missiles exploded in midair. Communication lines were hacked and broken. The humans controlled everything, inside and outside. Inside the command room, General Kor watched in horror. His greatest fortress was falling. His best soldiers were disappearing like smoke. He screamed orders, but no one listened. The fortress was under siege by enemies no one could see. Suddenly, the main door burst open. The ghost units entered, weapons ready. They moved with deadly calm, cutting down any Drexari who tried to resist. In the heart of the fortress, the humans found the control core. One soldier, the leader of the ghosts, stepped forward. He placed his hand on the control panel. The fortress shook. Lights went out. The fortress was silent. The Drexari had lost. Outside, the humans raised a flag, black with a burning ghost symbol. It was a warning to the rest of the Drexari. The ghost units vanished as quickly as they had come. No one saw where they went. The news of Fortress Farkas's fall spread like wildfire. Drexari leaders panicked. If their strongest fortress could fall so fast, what hope did they have? The Emperor cursed the humans, but deep inside, he was afraid. The fury of Earth was far stronger than he ever imagined. The fall of Fortress Farkas was only the beginning. The Drexari Empire was shaking, but they still had one hope, their homeworld. The great planet Drexar Prime was the heart of their power. It was protected by the strongest defenses in the galaxy. Massive fleets, unbreakable shields, and armies of thousands waited there. The Drexari believed Drexar Prime was safe. They believed the humans could never reach it. They were wrong. Deep in Earth's command centers, plans were being made. The ghost units had grown stronger. They had learned the secrets of Drexari technology. They had weapons that could break any shield. The humans did not want to fight a long war. They wanted to end it quickly. Their strategy was simple but deadly. Strike fast. Strike hard. Break the unbreakable. Under the cover of a solar storm, the ghost units launched their attack. Ships darted through the storm, invisible to all sensors. They moved like shadows, silent and deadly. Drexari forces scrambled to defend their planet. Huge warships fired missiles and lasers, but the humans were already inside the defenses. On the surface of Drexar Prime, explosions lit the night sky. The human soldiers fought like legends. They climbed walls, sabotaged weapons, and destroyed communication towers. They moved faster than anyone could see. The Drexari soldiers fought bravely, but confusion and fear spread. They could not understand how these humans appeared and disappeared like ghosts. In the command room of the planet's fortress, the Emperor watched in horror. His great planet was under attack. His greatest defenses were failing. He ordered his fleets to retreat and regroup. But it was too late. The humans had already broken the planet's shields. The unbreakable was broken. The ghost units reached the Emperor's palace. They moved with deadly precision. No guards could stop them. The Emperor hid in his throne room, surrounded by silence. He knew the end was near. A human soldier entered. He removed his helmet, revealing a calm face. "You hurt one of ours," he said quietly. "Now your empire ends." The war was over. The Drexari Empire was no more. Humanity had won, not with brute force, but with strategy, patience, and fury. The galaxy watched in shock. The weak humans had destroyed the mighty Drexari. The war was over. The Drexari Empire was broken. But Earth did not celebrate. Humanity stood quietly, watching the stars. They had won with fire and shadow. But what now? The leaders of Earth met in a great hall. They spoke of peace, justice, and the future. They knew the galaxy would fear them, but they did not want to be feared. "We did this to protect our own," said General Hale. "Now we must protect all." The surviving Drexari leaders were brought before the Earth Council. They expected punishment. They expected hatred. But instead, they found something new: mercy. The human ambassador spoke calmly. "We do not seek to rule the galaxy. We seek to share it. Together, we can build a future where no one fears war." Across the galaxy, species watched with surprise. Humans had destroyed the strongest empire, yet showed kindness. They had become not conquerors, but protectors. On Earth, people looked up at the stars with hope. The sun rose on a new age, a dawn of peace, promise, and endless possibility. But deep in the shadows, some remembered the cost. The ghosts of war never truly disappear. The war was over. The stars were quiet once more, but Earth was changed forever. The people who had survived carried the fire of their victory inside them, a fire that burned with pride, pain, and promise. The galaxy remembered the humans, not as weak beings, not as easy targets, but as warriors. Warriors who fought with heart. Warriors who never gave up. Warriors who protected their own, no matter the cost. In the years that followed, humans built new homes among the stars. They shared their knowledge, their technology, their hope. But they never forgot the lesson of war. They kept their ghost units ready. Silent guardians, shadows in the dark, reminding everyone that humanity's fire could never be tamed. Old stories spoke of the day when a single human child's death sparked a war that shook the galaxy. A war where humans fought not for glory, but for justice and revenge. A war that taught the galaxy one truth: never hurt one of ours, because if you do, you will face the full fury of humanity's legacy, a legacy of fire. And so, under the burning sun of Earth, the stars shone brighter than ever. A new chapter had begun. The galaxy would never forget the humans, the strongest, the fiercest, the unbreakable.